Most people think cat aggression comes out of nowhere. One minute your cat is peacefully curled up on the couch, and the next they're hissing, swatting, or sinking their claws into your arm. But cats rarely act aggressively without a reason. Behind almost every growl, bite, or angry stare is a message. And once you understand what they're trying to tell you, their behavior starts to make a lot more sense. Fact 1. Sometimes aggression isn't a behavioral problem at all, it's a medical one. Cats are incredibly good at hiding pain. In the wild, showing weakness could make an animal vulnerable. So many cats suffer in silence. That's why a cat with dental disease, arthritis, an injury, or even a urinary tract problem may suddenly become irritable or defensive. You might reach down to pet them the same way you always do, only to get scratched or bitten. From your perspective, the reaction feels unexpected. From your cat's perspective, they're protecting themselves from something that hurts. When aggression appears suddenly in an otherwise friendly cat, physical discomfort is often the first thing worth investigating. Fact 2. Fear is one of the strongest forces in a cat's world. A slammed door, an unfamiliar visitor, a barking dog, or even a vacuum cleaner can instantly turn a comfortable environment into a threatening one. When cats feel cornered or trapped, they don't stop to analyze the situation, they react. Hissing, growling, swatting, and biting are often defensive tools rather than signs of hostility. Think about how often cats choose to hide when they're scared. Aggression usually appears only when escape no longer feels possible. What looks like anger is often panic wearing a different mask. Many aggressive encounters begin not with confidence, but with fear. Fact 3. Your home may belong to you on paper, but your cat probably has a different opinion. Cats naturally divide spaces into territories, and they take those boundaries surprisingly seriously. A favorite chair, a windowsill, or even a hallway can become part of what they consider their personal domain. That's why a new pet, a neighborhood cat outside the window, or major changes inside the home can trigger aggressive behavior. To us, it seems like an overreaction. To the cat, an intruder has entered protected territory. Their response isn't random. It comes from instincts that have helped felines survive for thousands of years. Fact 4. Many cat owners have experienced a confusing moment. Your cat is purring. They're enjoying the attention. Everything seems fine. Then suddenly, bite. No warning, no explanation. In reality, there often are warnings, but they're easy to miss. Cats have highly sensitive nerve endings, and after a certain point, petting can stop feeling pleasant and start feeling overwhelming. A twitching tail, flattened ears, rippling skin, or a subtle shift in posture may signal that they're reaching their limit. The problem is that humans often notice these signs too late. What feels affectionate to us can become overstimulation for them within seconds. Fact 5. The first months of a kitten's life help shape how they see the world. During this period, positive experiences with people, sounds, environments, and other animals teach them what is safe and what isn't. When that exposure is limited, unfamiliar situations can remain frightening long into adulthood. A guest entering the house may seem harmless to you, but to an under-socialized cat, it can feel like a major threat. These cats aren't necessarily aggressive by nature. They're simply reacting to situations they never learned to navigate comfortably. In many cases, aggression becomes a shield against uncertainty and stress. Fact 6. One of the strangest forms of feline aggression is something called redirected aggression. Imagine your cat spots another cat outside the window. Their body stiffens. Their eyes lock on the target. Adrenaline starts flowing. But there's one problem: they can't actually reach the intruder. All that tension has nowhere to go. Then someone walks by at exactly the wrong moment. Suddenly, the nearby person, cat, or dog becomes the target instead. It seems irrational, but it's actually a well-documented behavior. The aggression wasn't meant for the victim. They simply happened to be standing in the path of emotions that were building long before the attack occurred. Fact 7. Cats love predictability. They notice routines most people never think about. They know when meals usually arrive, when family members come home, and which rooms feel safest. Because of that, even small changes can create significant stress. Moving furniture, bringing home a new baby, hosting visitors, or changing daily schedules can disrupt a cat's sense of stability. Some cats adapt quickly, others struggle more than we realize. When stress builds up over time, aggression can become one of the ways it surfaces. The behavior may seem unrelated to the change itself, but often it's a symptom of a cat trying to regain a sense of control. Fact 8. A bored cat can be a surprisingly destructive cat. In nature, cats spend a huge portion of their time stalking, chasing, observing, and solving small hunting challenges. Indoor life removes many of those opportunities. The result is a lot of unused energy and instinct. That's why some cats start ambushing ankles, attacking hands, or launching surprise attacks from behind furniture. They're not necessarily trying to be aggressive. They're trying to satisfy drives that have nowhere else to go. Interactive toys, climbing spaces, puzzle feeders, and regular play sessions often reduce these behaviors dramatically because they give a cat's brain something meaningful to do. Fact 9. Cats remember more than many people realize. A frightening encounter can leave a lasting impression that shapes behavior for years. Maybe a cat was handled roughly in the past. Maybe they experienced neglect, conflict with another animal, or a traumatic event they couldn't understand. Those memories don't disappear simply because time passes. Certain sounds, smells, movements, or situations can trigger old fears and defensive reactions. To an outside observer, the aggression may seem completely out of proportion, but from the cat's perspective, they're responding to a threat they've learned to associate with danger. Trust can be rebuilt, but it often takes patience and consistency. Fact 10. One of the biggest misconceptions about aggression is that it's the first thing a cat tries. In reality, it's usually the last. Before biting or scratching, most cats send multiple warnings. They turn their head away. Their ears shift backward. Their tail begins flicking. Their body becomes tense. Sometimes they simply leave the situation altogether. The problem is that humans often miss these signals. When the earlier messages fail, the cat escalates. Aggression becomes a way of saying, "I've been trying to tell you I'm uncomfortable." Understanding these subtle forms of communication can completely change the relationship between a cat and its owner.